Hey YouTubers, welcome back. This is Eli the OBD Tech. I'm here working on a 2001 Chevy Suburban 5.3 liter engine. This video is going to be based on verifying a potential vacuum leak that's causing a P0174 system tooling on bank 2, which would be on this side. Bank 1 it's on that side, which would be left and right. Common areas, whether it's a 4.8, 5.3, 6.1 engines, even a 5.7. It's faulty intake manifold gaskets. That's pretty much the number one main cause of these P0171 or P0174 system tooling codes. Other areas will be vacuum hoses. Another will be a faulty brake booster that's leaking internally. Another will be a faulty purge valve that's also leaking internally. Another area will be that gasket where the EGR tube connects to the intake manifold. That's another area that tends to leak. This is another area that leaks, but that's a common, which is normal for it to leak through the throttle body shaft, which is part of the throttle body plate, which I'm going to show you guys once I use the smoke machine. So I'll be using my smoke machine to verify that potential vacuum leak on bank 2 intake manifold gasket. So I got my smoke machine already hooked up. I have actually removed the vacuum hose that connects to the brake booster, and I connect to the connector for the machine. The hose runs out to the rear of the intake manifold. I've also removed the air intake hose, and I've connected a glove to seal this portion of this air intake hose to seal the system. Alright, so hopefully we're able to catch this leak. I like to perform this smoke test with the cold engine. That's mostly the time where these gaskets tend to leak the most, because once they warm up, they tend to seal and reduce a potential vacuum leak. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and connect the power to this machine, and let's watch for the smoke. Alright, so bank 2, it's on this side, so this is where we're gonna try to concentrate the most. I will also show you guys the scan data and show you guys the fuel trims. There we go. Like I said, this is normal for it to leak through here. The computer has already compensated for that type of leak here on this area of the throttle plate or throttle body. So here we go. Hopefully, we're able to catch any smoke through the bank 2 intake manifold gasket. There you go. There's a little bit of smoke through here on the number 2 cylinder runner. Like I said, this is normal to leak through here. There you go. This is on the rear of the intake manifold gasket. That's where it's leaking. Mostly it's leaking the most. Where the number 8 cylinder lives, 8 and 6. So there you go. That is confirming that bank 2 is leaking. Let me go to bank 1. See if we could catch any leak. There's a little bit of leak right there on that portion of the gasket. It's another small leak through there on cylinder number 3 or 5, I believe, next to the pressure regulator. I don't really see too much leak on bank 1. So there's actually leaking through there. It's not a lot, but it is leaking on bank 2. It's very minimal, but bank 2 is the one that's actually causing the most of the leak, like I said. Alright guys, so hopefully you guys learn how to use a smoke machine, you know, on this 4.8, 5.3, 6.1, you know how to and how to hook it up and check for a potential vacuum leak on your intake manifolds or any other area on the engine. I guess the next step is to go ahead and and show you guys the scan data, just to show you guys the fuel trims. Alright guys, so I got the scan tool hooked up. So before I go ahead and show you guys the live data with the fuel trims, I'm going to go ahead and just check real quick the freeze frame data to see if this happened during either at idle or during cruise. So there you go, there's that code P0174. It happened during closed loop. The temperature was about 93 degrees Celsius, so in other words the temperature in Fahrenheit was around 190, about 190 plus degrees Fahrenheit. Short term was negative 2.3. Bank 1 long term was about 25, which is I think the max fuel trim number that this vehicle goes up to. As you can see, bank 2 long term also shows 25%, so in other words it has maxed out at 25. Short term was negative 2.3, same as bank 1. So that's the reason why we have that P0174. I'm kind of confused why the computer did not trigger a P0171, bank 1 system to lean, but only bank 2, when both are showing over 20+% on long-term fuel trim. RPM was about 595. Vehicle speed was about 10 kilometers, which is almost less than, it's about 5 miles per hour, I believe. Or not even 5 miles per hour, because TPS was at 0%. So this pretty much happened at idle. I'm not sure why it's showing 10 kilometers. So I believe this happened at idle. Now let's go to the live data. I'll show you guys real quick. So now, like I said, this is the key on engine off. Fuel system status is open loop. But I'm trying to look for the short-term, long-term fuel trims. And I'm going to keep it. Let me go back. Select parameters instead. Alright. There we go. I got the PIDs that I want to show you guys. Temperature, RPM, long-term, short-term fuel trim on bank 1, bank 2. So let me go ahead and start the engine now. So I'm going to show you two steps. One with the cold engine and then one with the warm-up engine. Show you guys the difference on fuel trim. So right now, long-term, both banks shows about 21.1 and 21.9. So here we go. So once short-term starts fluctuating, that means that we have gone to closed loop. Our temperature is about 35 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what's the range in Fahrenheit. But as soon as it hits 70 degrees Celsius, I know that's about 158 degrees Fahrenheit. When it hits 80, it's about 176. When it hits 90, it's about 194. When it hits 100, it's about 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright, so short terms on bank 1 and bank 2 are fluctuating now, so we've gone to closed loop. Remember, this is with the cold engine. I'm going to show you guys two parts here, with the cold engine and hot engine. And let's see if these fuel trims get better as the vehicle warms up. So I'm going to go ahead and raise the RPMs real quick to speed up the warm-up process. Let's see if the long-term fuel trims tend to drop as I raise the RPMs. Both are at above 21. Short term is still under 10, plus or minus 10%, which is good. Remember what I said, with the cold engine, the intake manifold gaskets tend to leak the most, but once they warm up, they tend to seal. So these numbers should drop somewhat. So I guess when it hits 60 degrees Celsius, we have gone to about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. We're now still under that. Long-term fuel trims still stuck at 21 for both banks. So can this vehicle have two potential problems, vacuum leak and maybe fuel delivery or mass airflow sensor? Since fuel trims are not dropping as I raise the RPMs. As you can see, both banks are being affected the same way. 60 degrees Celsius, we're about 140 degrees now, Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna stop the video, come back once I hit to maybe about 190 plus degrees Fahrenheit and show you if these fuel trims did drop. Alright, so I want to show you guys real quick. Right now we're at 74 degrees Celsius, which is above 158 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, both bank 1, bank 2 and long terms have dropped. Remember, they were at 21.1 or 21.9, something like that. Now their bank 1's 11.7 and bank 2 long term is at 12.5. So as you can see, as the vehicle gets warmer, those intake manifold gasket leaks tend to seal and kind of fix the problem. So, I don't really need to show you guys, once it reaches to 190 plus degrees Fahrenheit. Just at this moment, at 77 degrees Celsius, we've seen that our long-term fuel trims did drop. They're almost within the plus or minus 10%. So whether the customer does decide whether for me to do the labor work to replace the gaskets, I'll probably come back and show you guys the fix. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this process of confirming a vacuum leak by using a smoke test machine, or using a smoke test by using a smoke machine, and then using scan data to verify potential vacuum leak by using fuel trims. Alright, so this is Eli Dobity Tech. Maybe expect the final fix, but if not, this is Eli Dobity Tech. Subscribe if you like. Alright, YouTubers, the customer did confirm to go ahead and do the labor work on replacing the intake manifold gaskets. I have already replaced them. For those who care about part number, there you go, top left. It's a Felpro brand. Alright, so I have already started the engine. Right now it's at about 35 degrees Celsius. Our long-term fuel trim, both banks, shows about 21.1 and 21.9. Short term, it's about negative on both banks. So pretty much to confirm a fix is to watch our bank 1 and bank 2 short-term fuel trims. These two banks should start correcting by going negative, and our long-term on both banks should start going down. So as the vehicle warms up, I'm going to bring you guys back just for the final fix. Alright guys, so after taking the vehicle for a 10-minute drive, these are the long-term fuel trims. They're still slightly above that plus or minus 10%. So like I mentioned before, I believe that this vehicle may have a second problem. For example, this is what I noticed. that are math reading showing about 4.32 grams per second. This truck, it's a 5.3 liter engine, so this number should be around that range of 5.3, 5.4, 5.2. So in other words, the math airflow sensor is underreporting, so that could be a potential reason why a long term is showing about 10.9 after replacing the intake manifold gaskets. Another possibility, perhaps restricted injectors, but for now I'll say maybe the source of the problem might be a faulty mass airflow sensor. I might leave this diagnosis for another video. So for now, I'll say that we did fix a portion of the problem by replacing the intake manifold gaskets, since we dropped to 10.9 on both banks. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoy this diagnosis. This is Eli Tech. Subscribe if you like.